Born in 1157, Richard was the son of King Henry II of England and Eleanor of Aquitaine, one of the most powerful women in medieval Europe. Unlike other princes who focused on politics and court life, Richard was drawn to battle. From an early age, he trained in sword fighting, strategy, and leadership. He spoke French better than English and spent most of his youth in France, leading rebellions against his own father. Richard's father, Henry II, ruled over a vast empire, but his sons were restless. Richard, alongside his mother, rebelled against Henry several times. Their relationship was full of conflict, but it proved one thing: Richard was fearless. When his father died in 1189, Richard became King of England. However, he had little interest in sitting on the throne. At the time, the Christian and Muslim forces were locked in the Third Crusade, fighting for control of Jerusalem. Richard saw it as his destiny to reclaim the Holy City from Saladin. He gathered an army, set sail, and arrived in the Middle East, ready for war. Richard's bravery was legendary. At the siege of Acre, he led assaults despite suffering from fever. When the city finally surrendered, Richard shocked even his allies by ordering the execution of thousands of prisoners. He was ruthless, but he was also respected. His battles against Saladin became the stuff of legend. Though he never recaptured Jerusalem, he earned Saladin's admiration. In a rare moment of respect between enemies, Saladin once sent Richard fresh fruit and cold water when he was ill. But Richard's troubles didn't end on the battlefield. On his journey back to England, his ship was wrecked, forcing him to travel through dangerous enemy lands in disguise. In Austria, he was recognized and captured by Duke Leopold, a man he had insulted during the Crusade. Richard was thrown into a dark, cold dungeon and held for ransom. The price for his release was staggering: 150,000 marks, an amount that could bankrupt a kingdom. Back in England, his mother, Eleanor of Aquitaine, worked tirelessly to raise the money. The people were heavily taxed, but they paid willingly to free their king. After a year in captivity, Richard was finally released. When he returned, England celebrated, but the warrior king did not stay long. He spent only 6 months in England before setting off to fight again in France. In 1199, while besieging a small castle in Chalus, Richard was struck by an arrow in the shoulder. At first, it seemed like a minor wound, but it became infected. Days later, the mighty Lionheart lay dying. He forgave the archer who shot him and passed away at the age of 41. His body was buried in France, the land he loved more than the kingdom he ruled.